Alright guys, welcome to another video, and today's video is actually one that I've been meaning to make for a while now. It's actually going to be an update as far as the Mustangs. I made a video that was entitled Mustang Clutch Problem. So today I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know what happened with the car. As far as, basically, I'm just going to start from the beginning, let you guys know what I actually went into the dealership for, and then everything that happened in between, because the actual problem that you saw in the Mustang Clutch Problems was not even a clutch issue. It actually was a brake issue. So I'll go ahead and let you guys know what happened with the car. If you've been watching my videos for a while now, you'll know that I have mentioned an issue that I've had with the car, as far as the clutch is in the footwell area has been leaking something every time I pushed it down, and I really wasn't sure what that type of fluid was. I didn't know if it was just some type of grease that Ford had on the car that was just extra from the factory, but I just noticed it, especially once I start driving the car a lot. And I guess what was actually happening was that fluid was actually heating up as the car got warmer and whatnot, and as I would drive it more, like I just said, the car will get warm, so the fluid would get warm along with the engine temperatures and stuff like that rising, which it basically would allow the fluid to move more faster and basically seep out of the crack or seal or whatever was really messed up in the car. So I took it to Ford, and I mentioned this issue in my 12,000 mile review video. And the wind is blowing. Why is the wind blowing? But anyways, I'm not really exactly sure where the fluid was coming from. Like I just said, there was some type of seal or something under the footwell that the fluid was actually able to come down from. And one of my friends actually mentioned to it the day that I was filming the Subaru Legacy GT review. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link in the description. But the day that actually filming that, one of my friends, Adam, who's a mechanical engineer over in UNC Charlotte, he said that he thinks that brake fluid is actually used sometimes with clutch fluid or something like that. And I'm not really exactly sure how that works, something like that. So it might be brake fluid that's actually coming down somehow, even though I'm pushing in my clutch. And someone can probably type and explain how that's working exactly, because I'm still not exactly sure exactly. Maybe because at the Ford dealership, when I get to later this to that part later, but they explain how the clutch actually uses the same reservoir that the brake fluid is in, so something like that. But anyways, so basically he mentioned that to me, and he said, oh yeah, I might want to hurry up and get that checked out, because even though it wasn't getting on any paint, but he did tell me that the actual liquid could actually like eat at your paint really fast, and it's not good when it happens. So that kind of worried me. I was like, even though this issue's been happening for a while, it hasn't made any big issues for me right now. I still want to get it checked out, because the car is under warranty and it's going to be free for me to get checked out. All I got to do is drop it off at the dealership. But at that time, I was only home on break, and I was at school and didn't want to be I didn't have time to really drop off the car anywhere. So once I got home back from school, I basically took the car over to the Ford dealership, told them what was happening, and they basically I told them I knew it was leaking. Like, oh yeah, they basically confirmed that I had a leak, and I was like, yeah, obviously you can see it building up on the floor mats and stuff like that. And so they took the car, and they had the car for about a week, and this is what kind of got me. At first, like, they didn't really tell me exactly how long they were gonna have my car. And it would have been something nice that I guess I could have planned for, was not having my car for a week. Could have got a rental or something like that. And they had my car for a week. I guess the part actually came in from Texas, is what they were explaining to me. And as I had my car for a week, when they have your car that long, you expect it to, once you get it back, everything's gonna be fine and normal. So I get my car back, and they explain to me that that everything's fixed and whatnot. So I start driving my car, and if you guys have ever changed brakes on an older car, you can when you take your brakes off and you put them back on, you have to pump the brakes, to get the basically get the pedal and everything responsive again and stuff like that, and get the brake pads actually pressure and stuff like that builds up. And basically I thought that's what was going on, because they explained to me that it was related to the brake fluid, like I just said. Like my friend Adam said that, and then the dealership also told me that. So I figured maybe they just didn't pump the brakes enough. So when I started driving away from the dealership, I felt that I had to push the pedal a lot farther down than I had to. Almost related to my Ford Explorer. That's kind of like an older vehicle, where you push the brake pedal down, and you have to push it basically a lot farther to get the vehicle to stop. So like I just told you guys, I thought that they just didn't pump the brakes enough. So I kept driving, and all of a sudden I get on the highway, and fifth gear and sixth gear way too sluggish. I mean, I felt like I was driving a car that was like 250 horsepower, and with the weight of my car, that's not really a lot of power. I mean, the thing was not moving at all. Sixth gear doesn't move, it's not like it hauls like it does in first and second or anything like that. But at least in sixth gear I can still pass people, especially with the tune on it and everything. So I felt like something was wrong, and I couldn't tell if it was an engine wise thing, and I was like, something's not feeling right. So I turned around to go back to the dealership, and then it just got worse and worse and worse. And basically, what was happening was the brakes were locking up on the vehicle, and I could kind of smell something, but I wasn't sure exactly what was going on. And I still was just going to take it back to the dealership. I was right around the corner, and by the time I got to the dealership, I was literally having to stay in first and second gear to get my car back to the dealership. And it was not, I was like, what was going on at this point? And I'm driving the car, I'm just kind of freaked out about it. I'm like, what on earth is going on and all this stuff. So I pull it in, and there was just smoke coming out. And the video that I actually had was a little bit after I got out of the car, because I talked to them for a little second, probably like 20 or 30 seconds. So smoke was decreased a little, but you could still see it up on the video. It was just not, it was not really ideal, or any, like, it was, you could tell something was really wrong. And I asked, I was like, did they put brake fluid back in the car? Like, what's going on? Like, I understand that the clutch, I came in here for something that was related to the clutch, like something was leaking fluid, but apparently like the brakes, and they use the same fluid or something like that. So basically what happened was, and I'll go ahead and actually cut to a clip that the guy will tell me, because the actual head guy at the dealership, or over the service department, he didn't really understand what happened. So they kind of were explaining to him at the same time, not what happened in my situation, but what the mechanism that I guess failed or wasn't set in place right. So I'll go ahead and cut to him and let him explain that.
No reason to be uncomfortable.
Just out of curiosity, do you guys know exactly how that was caused? Like,
If I'm hearing correctly, when everything was reassembled, the brake switch was out of adjustment.
Yeah.
So did they not check that when they I'm just trying to figure out how that wasn't since being here.
Yeah,
Well, just like you said, like the longer you drove it, the worse it got. So I don't know, because you didn't notice anything in the very beginning either, right when you left.
The only
right?
thing I noticed was that I had to push almost like an older, like a F-150 or something like that. Like you got to push the brake down farther to get it to stop. That was the only thing I noticed. And I thought
that was in the very beginning.
Yeah, that's as soon as I started pulling off, and I said, okay, maybe I just got to pump it a little. Or once I keep driving, it'll get better. But
Okay.
So if I understand correctly, with the brake switch out of adjustment, it was sensing
He was
that
just holding the pedal
he was
down a little
depressing
bit.
the pedal a little bit.
Yeah, slightly. Yeah.
And the more it heats up, the more it expands.
Yeah.
And the more it
The
feels
more
like
it's
it's
going to
getting
feel
worse.
like brake apply.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So hopefully we got no big deal. We clean it up for you and get you back on the road and good as new.
Okay.
If there's something we need to do to make it so, we'll do that.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
had 2 call in today. So.
So basically what you just heard is he describes what happened, or he's actually been explained to another guy what happened, what the mechanism does and all this. And it's kind of weird that the person that's over the service department doesn't know about this, which I kind of think is, he should, because if you're over the entire service department, I feel like you should have knowledge about these things. And here comes a train to mess up the audio, so you know what? Yep. But anyways, after talking to them, I was telling them that, well, I just kind of drove my car. Clearly there's smoke coming from the brakes. I kind of find it hard to believe that the brakes are like, my biggest concern was probably my clutch. I know brakes, you have to replace those eventually and whatnot, but my clutch should last me a good, maybe at least, I want to get 9-10 years out of my clutch. I don't beat on my car like that. Now, if I was being on it, I'd say 7, but I still think a clutch, especially something that's developed in 2015, should last a good 10 years. And I was like, well, did I just really kind of destroy that? And they were like, well, we'll check it out and stuff like that. And they let me go back, and they were, what really got me, or at least made me more comfortable with the situation, was the actual technician that worked on my car. He was, and I forgot his name, but huge shout out to him. He was really cool, really nice guy, actually into cars, like really into cars. I think he has like a Mitsubishi Eclipse that he was building or something like that. He was telling me about, and he took off the all the 4 wheels, let me look at the brakes and stuff like that. And basically, I analyzed the car, and of course I couldn't see the clutch and stuff like that, but and my dad actually came. My dad, he actually knows, knows much more about cars than I do. I kind of learned stuff from him. So having him there to look at the car too and make sure, everything was good. And basically everything was fine on the car, even though the brakes were smoking and stuff like that. As a whole, my brakes are still pretty good. I actually do not use my brakes, and this kind of weird describing it to you guys, but when I'm driving enthusiastically on back roads and stuff, I actually, like, even though it'll be a long road, I let out early. That way I'm just not eating my brakes away, because I just don't want to replace them like that if I don't have to. Like, I mean, of course I will use them and stuff like that, but I prefer to downshift and use engine braking. And when I'm at Liberty and stuff like that on the mountain, I always engine brake, and I'll go down to like 2nd and 3rd gear to engine brake the car and use the lower gears to basically slow the car down and stuff like that. And so my brakes as a whole, they're still in pretty good condition. After that ordeal, the brakes are still pretty good. I was just kind of concerned as to if I had accelerated the wear and stuff like that. And like I told you guys, my biggest concern was my clutch. But after analyzing the car and looking over it, having my dad there and myself and then the actual technician who I could tell was genuinely down to earth and actually cared what happened to the car and stuff like that. It was just really nice, and I wasn't mad. And the only thing I really will say out of the situation, that the head guy over the service department, because he heard about it, and of course he came and he tried to make it seem like it was my fault. And I told him, I think he kind of backed up once I told him that everything about this car is documented and stuff like that. And I literally have like the video, the smoke coming out. There's nothing you can make this. And like showing them that something about your car. Like I know, like I have general knowledge of most cars and overall, but especially my own vehicle, my 3.7 liter Mustang back there, I definitely have some knowledge on that. So showing them that you know your stuff about your own vehicle will definitely have people back off. Let some mechanics know that overall they can't push you around and stuff like that or try and jip you out of something. But that was the only thing that I can really say out of the situation. I don't think he handled it the best, but I'm not mad or anything. Still great guys over there, everything. And actually, this actually goes into my next thing, and I'm gonna go ahead and try and make this fast because I don't want to make the video too long. But basically, I actually have a deal with this dealership that I was at, and the service department and sales. When I was at the dealership, dropped off my car, talked to them. They're like, hey, I make YouTube videos, I'm not the biggest guy, but I have some decent skills, I think, stuff like that. And they actually like the idea of me reviewing cars for them and putting them online. Helps bring attention to their dealership and stuff like that. So that's why I've been throwing a butt ton of reviews at you guys. And it's almost ridiculous how many reviews I think I've been doing, at least in the past 2 weeks, and I still have another job that I'm doing about 35 hours a week at. So I have a full schedule. That's why doing this video took a lot. And you guys are also asking when are mods coming for the wind is blowing again. Great. You guys are also asking how when my mods are coming on as far as headers and stuff like that. That's going to be maybe July, not anytime soon right now. I actually just dropped $700 on camera equipment. And so I'm actually looking to make my videos better and stuff like that. And yeah, so mods are still going to come this summer. I might do headers, spoiler, or lowering springs, not sure exactly. I want to get those 3 done this summer, but I at least want to get 2 things done on the car this summer. So I'm not trying to throw a whole bunch of money at the car at once. It just doesn't make sense to me to do that type of stuff. My car is a hobby to me, not really something that I've already explained in other videos. I'm in school, it's not smart for me to throw all my money in my car. So basically all I have to talk about in this video. Like the video, like, sub, subscribe, all that good stuff, and be safe and be holy.